It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview Shawn Harper, who is a former NFL player. How are you doing today?
I am doing absolutely wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Can you talk about your professional playing career and how you knew that you wanted
Yeah,
to
yeah,
start?
yeah. So I started playing. I was in the '92 draft, and I was drafted by the Rams actually, when they were in Los Angeles, and I spent about 2 seasons with them, '92 and '93. Had some injuries, but I kept fighting through, trying to persevere through that. Had a great experience playing out west, and then from there. Um, I went to Houston and it wasn't a full season with the Oilers when they were in Houston. Houston. Didn't spend a whole season with them, but had a great time. And then I went to NFL Europe and I played for Amsterdam and Frankfurt. And then between there, I played with the Indianapolis Colts. And so I had a great time playing college, collegiate. I played at Indiana University. Uh, I IU Bloomington, had a wonderful time there. Wonderful experience, and had some great players, great teammates, and the rest is history.
What was it like whenever you got drafted in 1992 in the NFL?
Man, you know what? It was absolutely amazing. I remember sitting there, and my phone's ringing. I'm sorry. Uh, and uh, getting my name called, it was just absolutely amazing. It was just mind blowing to see my name called on TV. And I was a friend of mine, one of my best friends, and then we went out and we had some seafood, and that was my way of celebrating. But it was just a total shift in my entire life. Flying out west to the Rams and hanging out in Orange County, and it's probably some of the funnest and exciting times of my life right there.
What was your playing time like with the Los Angeles Rams?
Uh, Boy, I tell you, it was quick. It was quick and fast. Like I mentioned earlier, that was plagued with injuries, of course, but my experiences there were just things that I've learned, things that I was able to just gather from such great athletes like Jackie Slater, Kevin Green, um, uh, Todd Light, Sean Gilbert, Mark Boutte. It was just, man, it was just absolutely Henry Eller. It was just mind blowing to just be around these guys every single day, work out with them, train with them. I would not trade that for anything in the world.
What was it like going to Houston with the Oilers?
You know what? Houston was a very interesting place. Uh, ton of talent. Probably the toughest training camps I've ever been to in my entire life. Average 104, 107 degrees at Trinity University. Hour 40 minutes each practice, and it really was really it was really gruesome. But you know what? Those characters on that team, Chris Dishman, Brad Hopkins, um, Bruce Matthews. Man, these dudes were like legends, and just to be alongside Ray Childress and just stand next to these guys and play with these guys, I tell you what, that I'll never forget that as well. So.
What was it like going from Houston to the Indianapolis Colts and putting on that jersey and playing for them?
You know what? Some of the uh, some of the biggest highlights of that was a couple of teammates, guys that 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 I was cool with, but it has some amazing coaches. Like, Ted Marchibroda. He was such an amazing coach. Uh, Playing and basically being written off. At the beginning of the season, they're like, oh, same old Colts. And that year we're probably one play away from the Super Bowl. Jim Harbaugh was our quarterback, and that was a character. Then you had Tony Siragusa, which is like, oh my God. So it was a really, really, really great experience as well. Extremely competitive, but yet fun.
What was it like going from the American NFL to the European NFL?
We were reality TV before reality TV was a thing. And can you imagine 40 to 45 players in a hotel, all living together, practicing together, hanging out together in a foreign country? That is reality TV right there. And the adventures that we had was just absolutely amazing. Of hanging with these guys, and so amazing is that I'm still close to a few of those guys to this day, and that experience, playing professional football stateside was fun. Playing in the European circuit, it was an experience. So yeah.
That's amazing. What is some of the similarities and differences between the NFL and the European NFL?
Well, the similarities is that NFL Europe was owned by the NFL. So they made everything exactly, this is how it should roll. So, just same um, systems, each team stateside, was had a corresponding team over in the European side. It was a real farm league. What made it different though was that the game was faster. They literally spud the game up. They took 5 seconds off the play. I mean, 5 seconds off of the clock between plays. They didn't waste no time. They kept it moving because they wanted it to be more similarity or more congruent or pattern football or soccer. So they wanted it to keep it moving as much as possible.
Of course, now looking back at it, what are some similarities and differences between whenever you played NFL versus nowadays?
I think the similarities is the game is the game. Uh, you know, you still have to make the team. You're still basically you are competing, but you're in the entertainment business, and winning is very entertaining. The difference is that there's so many variables to the sport. Like I see the way the guys train today. They just don't go out and hit a person. No, they work on every aspect of the block, your step, your angle, and then they'll teach each point and then they'll overlay it and they'll lap it together and say, now this is how you block. Versus, when I was playing, you take the step, you get the read, and you hit and you massacre the person. That's your job. Your job is to massacre the person in front of you. So yeah, yeah, yeah. So
What was what was it like transitioning from the gridiron to the corporate world
it was
after your
tough.
playing time?
You know what? It was tough. But I realized that if you take the success aspect out of it, winning is winning is winning. And so yeah, it's like I'm going into corporate world, and at first I would allow them, we're going to teach you how to be corporate, and I was like, wait a second, I come from probably one of the most influential organizations in the world, the most successful organizations ever. That's the NFL. Okay, extremely competitive, productive, every second of the day. Don't tell me how to do life or business. I'm going to show you what it's like to function at a high level and able to bring that winning mindset into corporate America. And I've had tremendous success or wins.
Can you talk about, of course, some of your accomplishments moving into corporate world? I know that you're a motivational speaker.
Yeah. So I actually kind of learned that with being with groups like the Power Team, but I also learned it playing professional football. And as I'm playing professional football, the NFL does a fantastic job. Listen, I know you guys hear a lot of bad things about, you know, the NFL, for all intents and purposes, is a phenomenal organization. Okay. They spend and they give away and they donate a lot of money to help. And one of the things that every NFL team does is that if you call, that they will, for a very small price, gather up current players, and they'll do charities and fundraisers, but they'll also have them on the speaking circuit. And so I was able to get on the circuit. Every team I was at, I would always raise my hand, hey, I'll go speak. And that's how that's kind of how I really got started and learned how to leverage the fact that I was a professional football player. And the rest is history.
Can you talk about, of course, the lifestyle as a motivational speaker and what you do?
Well, up until COVID, it's a very fast life, just like football. You're traveling, you're living out your suitcase. You have to be prepared. Each speech has to be personalized to the organization, and also what the organization is maybe dealing with or going through, to get them through to a purpose, a destiny, a mindset, a shift. That's extremely important. The biggest paradigm that has been COVID, and since COVID's hit, it's been an amazing game changer because we're doing a lot of this now. I'm talking to you one on one. It's not on the plane as much anymore. Probably like 90% of my engagements are gone, and this is it right here.
How has, of course, with COVID impacted your motivational speaker where you are on more Zoom calls than in person?
In the beginning, it was tough. Now I like it, almost prefer it, because I could do more opportunities. Like I could do 9 o'clock Eastern, I can be on a Zoom call talking to a bunch of executives out of New York. In about 4 more hours, I could be in Taiwan speaking, or maybe I could be in Orange County, California. I can be in the OC having a great speech as well 4 hours later. And then I'll go eat breakfast. And then sleep in my own bed at night. Like, come on, that's kind of cool.
Looking back on your playing career, what are some of your accomplishments and what are some things that you miss?
Accomplishments is the fact that, I even made it to the NFL, period. Which is why, you can always tell the sports commentators who've never played the game because they're very ruthless in their critiques versus guys who've played the game for a while. Well, most of them, you know, they they tend to be a bit more, forgiving because they realize how hard it is. There's so many variables in there. What things that I did not uh, miss out, the things I didn't miss out on is that I don't think I relished the opportunity enough. Sometimes it's, your mind's always thinking about the next week, the next day, and just being present and, just really enjoying the moment, like a good steak. You don't want to rush through a good steak, you want to just take it slow and you want to enjoy it, but I was too busy clown through it. And when it's over, it's over. So yeah,
What advice would you give upcoming future NFL people looking to make it into the NFL?
go all in at the same time to develop your life for after football because it only lasts for a few years and it's over. And very few people leave on their own terms. That's what I would do.
What advice would you give somebody that's finishing football up and moving into the corporate world?
Play to win. Bring it with you. Bring the win with you. Bring that winning mindset you learned in high school and college and the NFL. Bring it with you to corporate. Do not allow corporate to break that out of you. You're a winner.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
Yeah. So you can go to Instagram first. Instagram, Shawn with a W, Shawn Harper 154. Number two, you can go to my website, ShawnHarper.org. And if you go to ShawnHarper.co, you'll get a free copy of my book. So that's where you can find me. Last one. Winning by Design. That's my Facebook group.
Thank you again, Shawn Harper, for your interview and best of luck in your future as a motivational speaker.
Thank you so much. You have a good one.
You too. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brand, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Shawn Harper, for your interview, and best of luck.
Take care, man.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.